What dental implants are the best? That's a really easy answer, but it's a little bit complicated. Let's go into it. So, what's the best dental implant? There is none, right? So the implant, there's hundreds, let's say 100 manufacturers, probably more than that, of dental implants, and it's not about the actual screw so much as it is the person, the team that's putting it in. And not just the surgery, but you have basically three components. You have the surgical side, you have the lab component of making the actual porcelain parts, and then you have the restorative section, which is the dentist prescribing, inserting, designing a crown or bridge. So let's kind of go through each one of them. So what actual implant screw is the best? In my opinion, it's got more to do with the skill, judgment, training, and experience of the dentist that's putting it in. Ultimately, if you have enough gum and bone, or if you don't, that needs to be built back beforehand. So you could have a very cheap implant, which I don't suggest, placed into your bone, and it will still work if it's placed by an expert, versus a very expensive implant put in by somebody who has a lot less experience and does not have a lot of bone on the outer wall, or the tissue was not the gum tissue was not taken into account, and there's a very thin gum on the outside. So again, it's really quality over quantity, and that's how you're going to find what's best. There's actually different types of implant connections. I can write a whole other story just on that, but that is not so much the issues. Most of the redos that I do and revisions are oftentimes just either it was kind of the wrong patient for that particular procedure, meaning a different procedure should have been done on you, or it was just not done that well. I very rarely see, bad implants. So as for the best implant, it's really, find the best team. And on the side of the laboratory side, that's a huge component. So people say I want a zirconia crown. Well, it's not like it's off the shelf. It's custom made, and it's made to certain parameters. It has to be heated up to at a certain degree and cooled down at a certain temperature. The way the cement lines the inside of the custom abutment, how the what we call emergence contours are made. These are all things that lead to success or failure in making your implant the best or the worst. And believe me, I've seen really quite terrible things in my practice over time of just lab work done very poorly. You might have a very good dentist, the best dentist no less, and in a lab that is just not up to par with the level of the dentist, or vice versa. So it's just like a zirconia bridge. They can break in half very easily. It's really about how it's made, not so much the material. We all have access to the same materials, but again, it's the lab technician, and it's the fusion, the partnership between the dentist and lab technician, how that works. And on the restorative side, what's the best implant crown or implant bridge? Of course, some products are better. There's no doubt about that. But again, along the same theme, it really has got to do with the skill of the surgeon, the skill of the lab technician, and the restorative dentist to make the crown with the screw come right up the center versus out to the side, to avoid vital structures, to prevent the implant from being put into a nerve or into the sinus inadvertently, or a zygomatic implant that's drifted out of the cheekbones. So the question about best is really hard to judge that. Uh, Please don't shop on price. These are body parts that you're looking for. They're not simply um, off the shelf like a web camera or a keyboard. These are services that you're paying for, and certainly you want them to last. I have cases that are 20 years old at this point, where I see patients on a yearly basis for recall, and I can tell you that these cases are doing quite well. Remember that implants do fail, they do need to be removed, they're not permanent. So having the best implant done by your best dentist in your area, I really think is going to save you a lot of money in the long term. But that's the take home message of all this. Please leave your quotes and comments below. I appreciate you, and I'll try to get to as many of them as I can. Thanks so much. Ramsey, Amin, DDS, Burbank, California. and I'll see you on the next blog post. Bye.